we're covering the recovery of high-pressure refrigerants, a topic filled with details you must know for your EPA 608 Type 2 exam. High-pressure refrigerants include common types like R22 and R410A. When you encounter a system that needs service, your first job is to get that refrigerant out safely and legally. The primary method for this is using self-contained or active recovery equipment, which has its own compressor to pull the refrigerant out. For larger systems with significant amounts of liquid refrigerant, the push-pull method is the fastest. This technique removes liquid first by using the recovery machine to create a pressure difference, pulling vapor from the recovery tank and pushing it into the system's vapor port. This high-pressure vapor then pushes the liquid refrigerant out of the system's liquid port and back into the recovery tank. Once the liquid is gone, the machine switches over to recover the remaining vapor. For smaller systems, a straight liquid-then-vapor recovery is more common. Before starting any recovery, you must check the oil level in the recovery unit and ensure your recovery cylinder is not expired, is correctly labeled for the refrigerant type, and is evacuated of any air or nitrogen. You must never mix different refrigerants in the same cylinder. This creates a hazardous mixture that cannot be reclaimed and is extremely expensive to destroy. Recovery cylinders should never be filled beyond 80% of their capacity to allow for thermal expansion of the liquid. During the process, a key exam point is monitoring the discharge pressure and temperature of your recovery unit. A rising pressure could indicate a restriction, or more commonly, that you have excess air or other non-condensables in the recovery tank. You can verify this by checking the tank's pressure against a PT chart after letting it sit and stabilize at room temperature. If the pressure is higher than the chart indicates for that refrigerant, at that temperature, you have non-condensables. A major safety and exam topic is the danger of heat. Never apply a torch to a system for brazing or cutting until all refrigerant has been recovered. Heating chlorinated refrigerants like R22 can create highly toxic phosgene gas. Symptoms from phosgene exposure can be delayed and potentially fatal. Record keeping is another tested area. For appliances with 50 or more pounds of refrigerant, technicians must document the quantity and type of refrigerant recovered and the date of service. These records must be kept for at least 3 years. The biggest exam trap, however, is confusing recovery targets with evacuation standards. When you are simply opening a system for a repair that is not considered major and will not be followed by evacuation, the goal is to bring the pressure to 0 psig. This ensures all liquid refrigerant has been removed before you open the lines. The exam will try to trick you by offering deep vacuum levels like 500 microns as an answer choice. Those deep vacuum levels are for evacuation, which happens after a repair is completed to remove air and moisture before recharging. For recovery, you just need to break the pressure. So here's a phrase to remember: